So the package is titled "Why E-MetroTel for Hospitality Customers," and we've carefully focused ourselves internally on always asking ourselves, uh, why E-MetroTel in anything we do? Like, why is it that we expect our resellers uh, uh, to use our product and promote our product, in various instances. So just that constant challenge of why us, and in this case, it's why hospitality customers. Um, uh, if we can't explain to you, uh, why E-MetroTel, then we know that you're not going to be able to explain to your customers why E-MetroTel as well. So for why E-MetroTel for hospitality customers, the nutshell answer that's up there, give it away already. We offer a scalable integrated solution. And then we package all the values that Vito talked about that we try and promote as far as what we can do for you. But the scalable integrated solution around hospitality is what I'd really like to talk to you today about, so that you understand our capabilities. And I just have to get there. Okay. So I'm going to walk through, in case some of you might not be as aware of who E-MetroTel is. So talk about that a bit. Go into the depths around why E-MetroTel for hospitality, and that's in the from looking at some of the feature capabilities, our architecture, which includes what we can do from a wiring, analog wiring perspective, our telephone options, and then finishing off with summary and wrapping up where we would go through questions and provide some answers. So who is E-MetroTel? We were founded in 2009. And that makes us been around for about 14 years. But as Julie had mentioned, each of us brings, on average, several decades worth of experience, specifically in the telecom business. So we bring a lot to the table as far as understanding of customers and capabilities, and we work together as a tight team to do that. We are a global business. We have companies established both in the US and Canada, and our hardware and software solutions are designed in-house. Many, if not most, of our designers are actually in Canada. And as am I, out in Calgary. Some people might not consider that Canada, but and then our resellers though are spread across North America, Caribbean, Australia, Europe, and Middle East. So we truly are global in scope. We're privately held. And as Artavan and Vito were talking at the start of the call, we're debt free because we're self-funding and we're profitable, and we have patentable technology that helps deliver a lot of the value add capability that we provide through our telephone portfolio. Our mission is to be the leader in the emerging hybrid market by driving technology and service through our local distributors and our reseller communities. With respect to the topic at hand, which is hospitality, I think the key focus is around that the fact that we are a hybrid offering. Just a quick again, for people who are maybe not as familiar with us, we have three main branding names, I guess. We have our UCX software. So the UCX software is where all our features are based and everything. And it's that's I'll talk about those capabilities, but we also have we call our hardware platforms our Galaxy portfolio, and our telephone products are branded as Infinity phones. So this the hybrid market, what where our focus on there is that we have the exact same software, the UCX software, that can run either on a premise-based hardware platform, the Galaxy. It can run in the cloud, and it can run on virtualized environment as well. So for this hybrid market, we know that in the case of hospitality, that their predominant desire is for premise-based solutions. And so we don't have to give you a choice, or you don't end up having to make a decision between, do I want to do premise or cloud? Everything runs the same, whether it is premise or cloud. So you're able to meet your customer needs with whatever, with the solution that they're looking for, which again in hospitality is typically a premise-based solution. And all the capabilities I'll describe today are available for that premise-based Galaxy implementation, or for virtualized or cloud solutions as well. So what are the values that we are delivering that are important from a hospitality perspective? The probably most important one here is the fact that we have an integrated interface capability for both PMS systems, which are property management systems. Most of you are probably familiar with that, and HOBIC, which is the hospitality billing interface typically used in hotels. That's completely integrated into our solution, rather than using a so it's an IP-based connection. Many others rely on serial interfaces still. Some PMS systems do still only have serial interfaces. If that's the case, we can still work with that through a third-party serial to IP converter box. We've done that in the past, and there's no issues there. Our infrastructure simplification. So we have a focus around our architecture is designed to simplify the wiring distribution closet. We have simplification for new build scenarios, offering and offering green solutions for our hotel upgrades, or if they're retrofitting an existing system, an existing building. I mentioned on-site appliance. That's a key cornerstone in our service or overall offering, is that we are able to, we still believe in on-site appliances. And they have their place, and particularly in the hospitality. Our hospitality license itself is offered as a perpetual license. it's purchased up front and it will run for the life of the product. So unlike other competitive products where their hospitality licenses is done on a recurring basis, here you invest and then you're able to continue using it. We have multi-legacy support. That's basically saying that not only can you use any of our Infinity series telephones and any of our mobile device capabilities and that, we also provide support for customers that have existing Nortel and Avaya and Panasonic phones. So it lends itself to economic reuse for some deployments. And then finally, on-site 911 notification. So that's a kind of an example of some of the capabilities that we bring to the table, even though it's not specifically part of our hospitality offering. It's a critical capability for emergency scenarios in a hotel, so that it's alerting the management staff, front desk staff, whatever it is, when anybody in the hotel dials 911 with information about where that originated from. And another thing, from a value perspective to keep in mind, we've heard that many of the traditional hospitality suppliers have issues with hardware availability, particularly say around analog interfaces. We believe the analog interface is definitely both from a trunking, but more importantly in a hotel scenario, analog stations are a key fundamental part of hotel offerings today and will remain that way. Our architecture is ideally structured to be able to handle that kind of capacity from an analog interface. We sorry. I just need to take a drink of water. I'm sorry. So the other thing is that from a certification perspective, many of our competitors who have hospitality packages require specific hospitality certification before they will provide you support. As Vito mentioned before, our North American support, we will provide support with just a single layer of certification, having been trained on the product in general, and that's because it is integrated, and so we're able to offer that support directly. And in many cases, we focus on the ordering tools around simplifying the ordering experience for our resellers, quotes and things like that. That's another area that we have heard feedback on as well, that our processes around that are very simple, whereas in other competitors there's a significant amount of complication, and you always have Julia to provide support during that part of the process as well. So if we look at know, customers, the kind of customers that we have that are using hospitality from E-MetroTel. It gives us an idea of that our premise of why E-MetroTel for hospitality is working. We've been successful in a number of large, highly visible hotels. In particular, I guess one that we have a recent testimonial for on our website. Hotel Laurier, or the Chateau Laurier in Quebec City. That's very very prominent hotel there that has accepted our overall value proposition. We have Sheratons in like the Sheraton in RTP North Carolina. Several major brand names: Hilton, Radisson, and Terra Nova in the Caribbean. And we've sold into Hamptons and Motel 6s as well. We have a lot of other ones that are not as recognizable names as well, but gives you an idea of that they're the values that we offer are being accepted, and particularly if you review that the testimonial from Chateau Laurier, you might be quite interested in that. So let's look at all the integration that I've talked about and the capabilities. And the best way that I've determined to share those capabilities with you is actually to look at the configuration. When you open up our web-based configuration utility, you install the hospitality package, and all these capabilities that are listed on the left-hand side here, those are pages that are generated again because right in the overall UCX software configuration, because of that integration that we offer. It's not an external box that you're configuring or an external application. First thing that you'll notice on this screen, is the fact that it is IP based connection. And what we do in this screen here is our premise-based solutions usually, in fact, our premise-based solutions all have multiple Ethernet interfaces, and all we do on this one is tell the UCX software which of those interfaces we're communicating to, either the PMS, which is labeled under the item under the MyTel interface there, or the Hobic billing system. Which interface to be listening for that communication on. And I will point out, like, the MyTel interface, so that's the predominant, I wouldn't say standard, but predominant interface that's out there in the industry because of previous success that MyTel had. Many of the property management systems have implemented that interface as well. So we provide that integrated into our system, so we can talk to practically any property management system that's out there. The next screen that you configure would be general settings. This is a little bit of there's a little bit of dial plan information, just to simplify the messages sent on the hotel billing interface. But the the one thing I want to point out here is the voicemail password, you'll see that there's two options that are here. You can either, when somebody checks in through a property management system, you can have the UCX create a password for their voicemail box that's based on their last name, or you can have a default password that's used all the time for that particular room. In either case, we clear the, on check-in, we clear the existing messages out of the mailbox. So we have multi-language integration capability through that as well. PMS systems will often be able to identify a customer or a guest's preferred language. Certainly important in Canada with English and French. Those are enabled by default. The PMS system simply tells us which one to use. We will then switch the voicemail prompts and on-screen text prompts for phones to that language of choice. Additional languages are available, easily added to the UCX interface, and if the PMS system sends us a request for another language, we can accommodate that as well. We also, and this is typically important with French names in particular, when there are character accents and things like that, and you are using the last name as the voicemail password, we provide what's referred to as transliteration, and we strip those so that a common keypad can still accommodate the user's last name without any special characters. When you are first installing the system, we have a room extensions page, which allows you to map extensions to rooms. Why is that important? This mapping will make it so that there is no direct association between a extension number and a room number. They can be there's no contiguous requirement, so they can be mixed all over the place, and essentially provide isolation. I guess a safety factor in making sure that if somebody does give out a extension number so that people can call, they don't necessarily know the person's room number, through the association of that extension. We've had a number of opportunities where people have asked to make sure that this is available, and when we explain this capability, they feel quite comfortable in moving forward. Once the excuse me, once the system is up and running, what happens is the PMS will start sending us check-in, check-out messages. When they check in, like if the room is not checked in, it will be classified as vacant on the UCX, which means there is the room's there. We will actually leave the phone in a state where it can still dial 911. The staff can do some special code entering for the status, which will be on the next page. But you can also see, the guest's name when they check in, and that becomes the name for that extension in room-to-room calls, or calling to the front desk. They'll see that name on the display right away. The status codes, as I mentioned, allows the cleaning staff and the maintenance staff to be able to enter a room. If they've just finished cleaning, they can pick up the phone, dial. In this case, it would be room or star 6 star, telling the PMS system that the room is vacant and ready to be occupied. The codes themselves, are fixed at these star 6 star as the example, but what we send to the PMS can be based on what the hotel wants to use that particular star code for. So that's why it's mappable, it's flexible. Some PMS systems have different needs than others, and this gives you the ability to modify what we send to them based on their requirements. We then go in and route restrictions, identify basically which of the routes you've built in the UCX software for outbound calls correspond with emergency routes, so that, again, phones will always be able to have that ability to place an emergency call, whether the room is checked in or not. And then local, national, and international class. So that would be based on the routes that you've built in the UCX for the different calling patterns. The PMS will then tell us when guest so-and-so in room 200 checks in. We want them to be able to make long distance calls or international calls. Other ones they might want to restrict to just local calls. So again, the PMS instructs us what to do. We build or we allow these routes based on the level of service that the property wants to give to a particular guest. From a hotel billing interface perspective, we maintain a table of all the possible country codes, and you can go in and provide put surcharge information and price per minute information into that spreadsheet or database. And when somebody places a call to that, we will provide information around the duration and the pricing through that HOBIC interface if they're running a HOBIC system. And then wake up calls. Finally, that's the last hospitality specific capability. The PMS typically, the actual property management system that the people at the front desk use, would have their own screen for being able to take wake up requests, from people standing in line or as people call in. But when they enter that information in the PMS, it's sent again through through that integrated interface to us, and we maintain our own internal database then to place the call at the appropriate time. But for smaller hotels that may not have an actual PMS system, they could access this screen at the front desk and enter wake up call information requests directly through this screen. You can cancel them once they're there as well, modify them, or the guest can just pick up the phone in their room and dial an access code and enter the information themselves. But this screen allows a little bit of front desk control for those smaller hotels that don't have a PMS system. This is just the bottom half of that screen. You can see that there's three calls, wake up calls scheduled on this particular system. And then you can, through the bottom capabilities are just defining things like, how long you want that first wake up call to ring, how many times you're going to retry calling if they don't answer after that period of time, and the interval between those recall times. So most of your interaction would be on this top part of the screen. And then I talked about our architecture. Really focused, or not focused, but really optimal for analog call FXS kind of functionality in the rooms, because bottom line is that hotels are still using analog phones in rooms because they're low cost, they're easily replaced and interchangeable. And when they have some speed dial buttons and message waiting light indications, that's really all the functionality that a guest either needs or uses. So quite often that's the best solution for hotels. For with our architecture, if a hotel is being built or rewired, the fact that you can distribute the the collection point for those analog ports across the local distribution frame on each floor of the building, or sometimes you have multiple buildings in the campus environment for a hotel. You only need to run the copper pairs from the rooms to a common point on the floor. We can interface using one of our FXS16 cards, which is sitting in a Galaxy Express 2-slot chassis on that floor, and then the run back to the call processing location, which is probably still in the main distribution room of the hotel. That's done via Ethernet, avoiding the need for running copper, multi pairs of copper from every floor back into that main distribution room. And both from a wiring cost, your labor cost of running all that cabling, and just the space that amount of copper takes. This hub and spoke kind of wiring that I've talked about here is optimal for that. And the point I should point out is, I show a Galaxy 11-slot chassis sitting in the distribution room where the processor would be. One of our 2950 call processor cards sitting in that Galaxy Expand. But once it's on Ethernet, if the hotel property actually did want to use cloud solution or a virtualized solution, the fact that we've converted everything to IP already means that, at that point we're really agnostic to where our call processing is sitting. Predominantly it's going to be on the prem, but we do have that easy transition to cloud or virtualized solution at that point in time. Doing with our FXS interfaces like this, our architecture is actually scalable to up to 3,000 extensions. So it could be a fairly major size hotel able to be serviced in this route. And then for existing hotels, existing wiring, where everything is run from each floor to the main distribution room. Once you install the Galaxy Expand in that main distribution room, you terminate all those cables on RJ21 interfaces, and the FXS16 cards fit in one or more Galaxy Expand chassis in that location. So for retrofits, it's easily converted to working with the Galaxy, and we're covered either way. You still have the same scalability. We had a question a while ago around powering for ringing. That's done centrally on the directly provided by the FXS card. So the powering is of the power supplies on that Galaxy Expand will allow all those extensions to be run through the power provided to those cards. The other thing I should mention is in either of these scenarios, when you're whether it's the FXS16s on the Galaxy Expand in the MDF or in each of the distribution rooms on each of the floors, if one of those FXS16 cards did have a failure of some type, you only need to change that particular card. Some of our competitors, when a gateway that they're using has one port that's failed, you have to replace the entire gateway. In our case, you only need to replace the card. The other ones can remain powered and running. You're not taking anybody else out of service. You're just simply replacing the failed card. And I mentioned at the beginning E911 notification. So that's an integrated capability within our UCX software, regardless of the platform that you're running it on. When you can configure the system it automatically recognizes 911 as a call type, as an emergency call. You can add other emergency numbers in there as well, with the same effect of the moment we see that, we will generate either a one or more phone calls or emails that provide the information. You can see it kind of laid out in this chart. A call from this particular extension has just been placed to the emergency phone number 911, let's say, and if it's if you're dialing an extension, the extension has to be answered. It will continue ringing until somebody picks it up and recognizes that that there is an emergency call. gives the hotel staff, in this case, both the front desk and anybody in the back office, can all receive notification that there is emergency, and then their own procedures can kick in. They can guide the response team to the appropriate location within the hotel based on the extension that made the call. There's, yeah, and like I said, you can add other phone numbers, or you can even from your call, like if you're going to place a call, you can place a call to a ring group, have many phones ring. You can actually even place a call to a page group, and then all phones will receive paging when that call 911 call is detected. And from our phone perspective, I told you we have our Infinity series telephones. We have 3 different sets plus a 20-button expansion add-on for the 5010W. Typically you would see the 5010W sitting on the at the front desk as you check in. It has Wi-Fi capability and Bluetooth for headsets, so cuts down on the phone clutter, or cord cutter, I should say, on in the desk environment. It can monitor other extensions through the combination of 20-button add-ons. They could, on smaller hotels, they could see the entire status of the hotel. 5004, 5008, ideal for putting in rooms as well, because of our no-touch provisioning capability. They can just be dropped in the room. Configure, simple one-step process to identify the extension, and all the labels then are controlled through the UCX software. So you don't have paper strips like many analog phones would require to be able to maintain the feature button mapping. And I mentioned legacy phone support. You can see Nortel, Panasonic, Avaya, IP phones and digital phones are compatible with our UCX software. Value there, if they have them deployed, is a green solution, and not throwing away things that aren't broken, and lower impact on staff training. So my objective was to explain why E-MetroTel for hospitality, and I think just to reiterate some of the important points, that integrated PMS and HOBIC interface rather than separate devices. Obviously a simplification, less chance of problems, easier support remotely from us as well. Perpetual based license, our analog star or hub spoke distribution for analog interfaces provides flexibility, and we have that scalability up to 3,000 extensions of any phone type.